Hello, I'm Shannon Sutton, and this is a video on diagramming sentences. My first sentence is a pretty easy one. It is, we have several good friends. In this sentence, start with the baseline. And in this sentence, we is my subject. I'm going to put my bisector. And then the verb is have. And then the direct object would be friends. Let's put that. Friends. We want several good are adjectives describing friends. So then you get a little thing. And good. And that would be how you would do that sentence. And you have your subject, your verb, your direct object, and then adjectives describing your direct object. Next sentence is a sentence that has some prepositional phrase. With some girls and in her class are both prepositional phrases. So how would we do that sentence? Okay, same thing. Start out with our baseline. What is my subject? The subject is she. My bisector was traveling. That's the was being the past tense of the verb be, traveling. Okay. With some girls is that is an adverbial because it is describing how she was traveling. She was traveling with some girls. So that's going to be under was traveling. So you go, how was she traveling? She was traveling with girls. Which girls? How many girls? Some. So that's the prepositional phrase. With being the prepositional, and the object of the preposition is girls. So that's with girls, and then how many girls? Some. Okay, and then my next prepositional phrase is in her class. And in that one, the in is the preposition, and the object of the preposition is class. That's an adjectival. That's adjectival, and that is describing the girls. So that's going to come down off of girls, and that's going to say in. And then it's a class. Class. But whose class? It's going to be her class. So that is how you diagram that sentence. She was traveling with some girls in her class. And that is going to be how you diagram that sentence with the prepositional phrase. She was traveling with some girls in her class. That's how you do that one. And the next one would be a sentence with a gerund phrase. And a gerund is any time you have an ing form of a verb and acting as a noun. And a gerund phrase is a gerund in everything that modifies it. So in this particular sentence, walking alone at night is going to be my gerund phrase. And that, to diagram that, we're going to just start the same way as we always do, our baseline. And because it's a phrase, it's going to be acting as my subject, the whole phrase, we need to give it a little pedestal. Let's do this. Going up there. And because it's a gerund, it gets a little step. Okay, and anytime you get a step in a gerund, you start, kind of goes down the step. Like that. Walking. And how are they walking? Well, alone is the adverb, and that's telling us how they're walking. So they're walking alone, so that's going to come down off of that. So that's alone. So walking alone. That comes off of that. And then at night is a prepositional phrase. It's also adverbial. but since we don't really have any room over there, look, we're going to go over here. So it is an add prepositional phrase, so we go at, and then we go night. That's on the other side. So that's how we write that. It's all one phrase, and we put it on the pedestal, so it kind of goes together. So walking alone at night is how we form that. Okay, and then we come back down, and we do our bisector because we're separating the subject and the verb, pretty much the guts of the sentence. And our verb is can be, because it can be. And so what's the next thing? Is scary. And what is scary? Scary is our subjective complement, and it's also an adjective. So that's going to give you a slant line, because we're coming back and we're telling them what's scary. Walking alone at night. Walking alone at night can be scary. So that goes there. So that's how we diagram that sentence. Walking alone at night can be scary. We got to do that with the way. And that's how that one goes. And our next sentence is when we use infinitive phrases as nouns. And in this particular case, to know him is to love him. It's infinitive noun phrases, and it's our subject and our predicate. And to do this, we're going to start like we always do with our baseline. And just like when the Jared phrase needs a little pedestal, or infinitive phrases needs a little pedestal. And this is because it's going to be our subject. And this is where the subject goes. We're going to do a little phrase. And then a line. And anytime an infinitive phrase, you always give a little slant line to the word to. And to. And then what's the verb? Know. You know him. To know. And then, what do you know? You know him. So you do a little blank, and you know him. So that's what you know. You know him. To know him. So then you come back down, and you do your bisector line, because this is your subject, and then you need your verb. And your verb is a tense of be, and it's is. To know him is what? Okay, and then the second part of this is an infinitive, but it's also a predicate. So then you need a slanted line. A slanted line. And then, because it's a phrase again, we need another pedestal. We go up, we come across, and it's an infinitive again. And so we always have a to over there. And to what? Love. And then, of course, to love who? I'm going to do a line, him. So that's how that one looks. To know him is to love him. And that is an infinitive phrase acting as a noun, where it is your subject and your predicate. And is a form of the verb be. And that is the end of my sentence diagramming. Thank you very much.